Good evening, race fans, and welcome to another lovely day here with Velocity Racing League for the VRL 2022 Cup Series. We are here today at Texas Motor Speedway, not only Texas Motor Speedway, but the 2009 scan of Texas Motor Speedway that we have here available on the iRacing service. Today we are going to be racing for the Texas 250 miles, 167 laps here. My name is Mason Heimbaugh with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here tonight, 1080p, 60 frames a second. I hope you all are ready for what's in store that these drivers have for us here today. I know that I certainly am, as drivers get themselves out onto track and begin their qualifying runs here. Currently, we have Tony Hilbrand's, Patrick Colby, Jaden Hopp, Cody Miller, Scott Shire, Ashley Lyle, Aaron Smith, Nicholas Lovell, Sean Williams, and Max Newworth currently out on track, putting down the best times that they currently can. And now that I've seen the number 37 machine, I have to make a public apology to Nicholas Lovell for the past, the entire season thus far. I have been saying his name incorrectly, and I want to just say I am sorry. Honest mistake, but Nicholas, I hope you can forgive me and everyone watching that supports the number 37 driver as well. Anyhow, now that we have that out of the way, we currently have 7 drivers that have put down their best times here today, with Tony Hilbrand's, just getting knocked out there by the one and only Nicholas Lovell, and quickly being shut out there by Ashley Lyle in the 51 machine, the Morton Salt 51 car, as she makes her way back down into pit lane, completing her qualifying laps here today. Scott Shire here in the number 4, also having completed his qualifying laps here as well. Just a few other drivers left out on track that need to complete their times before the qualifying session is wrapped up here and the checker flag is waved. Dawn Hilbrand's in the chat saying, good morning. Good Monday night. I don't know where I got morning from. Good Monday night, everyone. How are you all doing? Ready for some racing? I know that I'm ready for some racing. I'm doing fantastic. Dawn, glad to have you here in watching the broadcast. Great to see the familiar faces. Well, not necessarily faces, but names, rather, showing up and supporting the drivers and the league in general, week in and week out. Love to see the support that the fans, friends, and 87, Daniel Mosteller getting, no. That is a mighty, mighty big wreck there for the 87 of Daniel Mosteller. The 87 car suffering some heavy damage there going into turn 1. And that just goes to show here, folks, Texas Motor Speedway, especially this older scan of it, the 2009 scan that iRacing initially introduced into the service when iRacing, first started adding tracks into its service. Anyhow, that just, this is a very different breed of track that we have here compared to the modern day version. Now, let's actually ride on board here for just a quick moment with Jaden Hopp. Let's see. Nope, he's actually completing his run here, so unfortunately we won't be able to get it full. Well, actually, hang on here. Let's take a look here. We're going to ride on board here with James Coulibaly here for just a moment, just to give everyone at home an idea of what it's like here around Texas Motor Speedway, this older scan. It is just a very slick track, and it still is today, to be fair. It's a very fast, not a whole lot of banking. Well, you go into turn 1 here, there's quite a bit, but it's just a very slick track in general. You're seeing James Coulibaly trying to stay down on the low line there, the car wanting to get unsettled, and you see, man, these cars just want to go everywhere on this track. If you're not careful and not paying attention to what you're doing, you can get unsettled very quickly here at Texas Motor Speedway. So we're going to be seeing, hopefully, a lot of drivers, giving it all they got here and seeing what all they can do here going into today's race. And taking a look back, reeling back the cameras, reeling back the film and going back to 2021, we did not cover the action for the VRL Cup Series of 2021. However, we do have a little bit of information from that race last time around. Aaron Smith Terrell Baker and Howie Briss taking the top 3 last year at this same very track. Are we going to see some similar results going into this week's race? Let's find out tonight, as drivers going to have a little bit of a warm-up session here before they get themselves out onto track and ready for tonight's race here. And it looks like already the warm-up has completed, so we're going to roll right in to our starting lineup here. Starting off, the very tippy top of the field here, Ashley Lyle, the number 51 car, taking first place here on the front row here with Aaron Smith, the previous winner at Texas Motor Speedway last year for the 2021 Cup Series. The number 70 machine going to be starting off in second place on the outside of row 1. Howie Briss, the 97 car, also in the top 3 of last year's race here at Texas Motor Speedway, sitting in the top 3 here with Scott Shire. The number 4 car starting in 4th place here. Seems to be a tradition here for that number 4 car. I swear it seems like more often than not, Scott Shire is in 4th place in the number 4 car. I just love to see it. Anyway, Nicholas Lovell, the number 37 machine, off in 5th place here with Tony Hillbrands in the 92 car, taking 6th place here today. Daniel Mosteller in the number 87, taking 7th place. Max Neuwirth, the 66 machine, in 8th place here today. Cody Miller, the 28, going to be in 9th place with Sean Williams, the 89 car, in 10th place. Patrick Colby in 11th. Charles Jurek going to be in 12th place. And as we move on down the grid here, it's going to be James Coulibaly in 13th. William Britton in 14th. Jaden Hopp in 15th. Caitlin Height in 16th. Michael Keithley in 17th. And Thomas Sewell in 18th. Rounding out the field here today at Texas Motor Speedway for the Texas 250. As we get our drivers stacked up behind the pace car, lined up, ready to go for the first laps here today. I'm going to be curious to see how this is going to start off for these drivers, just knowing how difficult this track can be. But I also know that every single one of these drivers is incredibly talented, and what we see in practice doesn't always reflect what we're going to see in the race. A lot of the time, drivers are just really trying to push the limits and maybe even just having a little bit of fun, trying to get the nerves out before the start of the race. Anywho, that time is come to an end, and we are getting ourselves ready to go green here. The lights have gone off on the pace truck here today. And with Ashley Lyle and Aaron Smith starting off in the first row, Aaron Smith already seemingly having a little bit of deja vu from the last time here at Texas Motor Speedway. And just a little bit of a fun fact here, Aaron Smith led 159 laps at that race out of the 167 of that race in total. So Aaron Smith definitely knows what he's doing here. Is he going to be able to pull it off a second time here going into 2022? Let's find out. Ashley Lyle also up here, another strong competitor in the series. We don't get to see her out in too many races too often, but when she does come out, it seems like she's always up there in that top 3, top 5 at the very, very minimum. And she's always doing an incredible job working her way through the field, trying to hold on to these leads and ultimately trying to pull off a podium, if not a win at the very least. So great to see Ashley Lyle here at the front of the grid here for this race here today. We got Howie Briss, Scott Shire just behind them. There goes the pace truck down into pit lane. Here's your in-car camera. You're taking a look at Nicholas Lovell's number 37 car. Here as we go green flag, we are racing for the very first time here at Texas Motor Speedway. Let's see how these drivers are going to handle going into turn 1. Everything nice and clean, smooth so far. Side-by-side action for the most part as we come out of 2 down the back straightaway. Or rather, it's not necessarily the back straightaway because kind of how this, the layout of Texas, rather unique to say the least. So, anyhow, Ashley Lyle, Aaron Smith, Howie Briss, all doing a phenomenal job here, staying in this top 3. Let's see what's happening back a little bit further behind them. Here as we still have the in-car camera of Nicholas Lovell. They're up there in the top 4 at this moment. We're looking at Daniel Mosteller currently duking it out with Cody Miller, the number 28 machine, on his outside here. As we come out of turn 4 and across the checkered line, charging our way back into turn 1. A lot of these drivers here seemingly taking it relatively easy here, these first opening laps, and that's honestly the smart thing to do there, as you see Nicholas Lavelle on the bottom right-hand side of your screen ducking it down. Just for a moment there, I believe, coming into turn 3. Here as they come out of turn 4 now. A lot of single file, steady racing here right now, and that's almost exactly what I expected to see here. We're going to head up to the blimp camera and get a better picture of what's going on down on track here. You can see the field all just kind of stacked up, single file for the most part, just a little bit further back. The battle for 13th actually that this is. Thomas Sewell up there. The number 77 machine able to get away from that little bit of a pack behind him between Jaden Hobb, James Coulibaly, as well as Michael Keithley. So here we have the kind of the battle for the lead, if you will, on the right-hand side of your screen. And right now we're kind of looking at the midfield. On the left-hand side of your screen right now, you see Nicholas Lovell down on the inside of it. Looks like Tony Hilbrand's able to work his way back up into 4th place here, putting the 92 back into 5th place. 167 laps that we are going to be completing here today, the same that we saw last year for the 2021 Cup Series. And again, Aaron Smith having won that race last year, starting off in 2nd place right now. Not really too certain how this is going to play out, as, you know, we're going to see drivers have to come down into pit road. We're going to see a lot of different strategies as far as pit road. When drivers are going to decide to come down to get that new set of tires, fill up on fuel, that is going to be the real key here to victory. And, you know, someone like Ashley Lyle, Aaron Smith, or even Howie Briss, I mean, really all these guys up here in the top 5 right now, they all got to be thinking about that, even only on lap 8. You know, you got to be wondering, how quickly am I burning through my tires right now? How much fuel am I burning per lap? Because if you're burning off your, you know, your right front tire, your right rear tire, usually it's your right front that wants to give out first. If you're burning that out a lot faster than the guy ahead of you, you're doing something wrong. You're hurting yourself in a way that you might not expect. Here, as we have a little bit of a shuffle happening up here towards the front of the field, Aaron Smith being pushed back into 3rd place now. That's going to give way to Howie Briss. Up into 2nd place now. We're side by side here with Nicholas Lovell, Aaron Smith. Aaron not in the best spot there. Oh, looked like a little bit of contact there from the rear quarter panel of Tony Hilbrand's and Aaron Smith on the front end there, but nothing came of it. Both of the drivers still keeping on, but Aaron Smith definitely suffered there, being on the outside line. He was not able to maintain that speed, not able to keep up with these guys right now. And frankly, you know, it's not the worst thing to be put back into 5th place. You can regain those positions. Not exactly the worst spot to be in. Just got to keep with it and keep racing. That's the only thing that you can do at this point, especially knowing that it's only lap 10 of 167 here. But taking a look at this little bit of an interesting battle that we have happening for the lead right now, you see Howie Briss hot on the tail of Ashley Lyle. Here he goes, trying to duck it down on the inside of the 51 car. Not quite able to make it happen this time around. Ashley doing a great job of playing defense here. Not sure if that was exactly defense or not, but meanwhile we got Nicholas Lovell, excuse me. There it is. I knew I was going to do it. Lovell. It's Lovell, not Lavelle. It's Lovell. Anyway. So as these two drivers, man, Howie Briss, it definitely seems like once you get stuck in that outside line here, it was going into turn 1 right there. or well, coming out of turn 2 rather, it is not too friendly to any of these drivers here. It does not seem like you can keep the momentum up there once you get stuck in that middle to high line. Here is Ashley Lyle. Not sure if that was just pushing it to the wall there a little bit too close or what that was, but it almost seemed like we were going to see the exact same thing happen here to Ashley Lyle in that 51 car. So we got to keep our eyes open for that. We got to see if any of these drivers here are going to struggle with that and find themselves kind of making that mistake going into turn 1 or turn 3, putting themselves on that outside line, and all of a sudden they're down 3, 4, 5 positions because they made a simple error going into one of these turns. So definitely going to have to keep our eyes peeled on that, as still a lot of this field here, we're seeing some pretty good battles happening throughout the field at this moment. Here's, we're going to take a look at some more side-by-side views, or rather top-down views, however you want to look at it, I suppose. We're looking at Patrick Colby, the number 9 car, on the bottom of your screen, currently holding on to 9th place, as we have still the battle, well, generally just up front, happening on the top of our screen right now. All of these drivers here doing a phenomenal job. Ooh, look at this. Lovell getting mighty, mighty brave here in that number 37 machine. Not sure what he's got in store. Patrick Colby on the bottom of our screen, pushing up to Daniel Mosteller as well as Cody Miller, who are duking it out side by side. We've got some action brewing up here, folks, and I'm not sure exactly which one to keep my eye on here the most. Some intense battles, both for the lead as well as for the midfield. And going on back even further, there's more battles happening. Lovell here right on the tail of Lyle, trying to stay as close as he can, build up that momentum and see if he can shake up that 51 car any way that he possibly can. You know, if he can rattle the cage of Ashley Lyle here and push himself up into first place. Oh, here we go. Out of turn 2, that looked like he might have had a moment there, a chance at least, to duck it down to the inside of Ashley, but not quite enough momentum that he needed to make it work that time around. But, ooh, man, oh man, you can start to see just how loose these cars are starting to get. Now, generally, these cars, you start out loose, obviously, as your tires are cold. They're going to be pretty wobbly, pretty skittish here, as Lovell down on the inside of Lyle. He's going to push it out at turn 2. Let's see if he's got it coming. Oh, actually, that's turn 4. He's got it definitely now. Working his way into turn 1. Ashley stuck on the middle outside line here. And that's going to be all she wrote. Now, it's going to be a matter of if Ashley Lyle can hold on to this battle here and keep herself into this pack, and she does. She wiggles her way into third place just between Tony Hilbrands and Aaron Smith. Great work there from Ashley. Great driving out of the 51 machine here tonight, but also great driving here from Nicholas Lovell up into first place. The 37 car doing an absolutely incredible job here. Lap 20 of 167. It's been incredible racing thus far for the Texas 250 of the 2022 Velocity Racing League Cup Series. Folks, I hope you all are enjoying the action here thus far. I know that I certainly have. Marcus Regal, how are you doing, sir? Giving a shout out to Sean Williams in the 89 machine, wishing him the best here. Sean Williams currently sitting in that 12th place spot here. Here, as you're going to get a look of him on the right-hand side of your screen. as we're still just kind of keeping an eye on the battles up here towards the front of the field. Folks, I'm honestly, I'm just enthralled. We have 5 extremely talented drivers all just duking it out for the lead, and we haven't even touched on the points championship yet. That's a whole other animal in of itself, folks. I can't even begin to explain to you just how close this battle is for the lead in the championship. Let's talk about that here real quick, as we have, still some quite good action happening down on track at this moment. But let's talk about the battle happening for the championship. Howie Briss, still our leader in the series right now. Here, as we're going to actually give you a little bit better look here at the points. There it is, Howie Briss at the very tippy top with 2,478 points. 71 points behind him, it's Nicholas Lovell with 2,407 points in second place. 71 points, folks. 71. In third place, it's Jaden Hopp with 2,361 points. That's 117 behind Howie Briss. Sean Williams in fourth place, and Tony Hillbrands in fifth place. After last week's race at Michigan International Speedway, my home state track, Jaden Hopp moved up 2 positions since the last race, up into third place now in the championship. Tony Hillbrands unfortunately bumped from third to fifth place. So hopefully Tony Hillbrands already looking like he is wanting to recoup some of that loss here today, as he is now going to have an opportunity to lead some laps here after I was jabbering away about the championship. Tony Hillbrands able to work his way up here into first place around Nicholas Lovell in the number 37 car. The 92 machine now going to have a few laps here, or maybe even longer than that, to really show the potential of the 92 car here today at Texas Motor Speedway. So here we're going to take a look at some of the other action here unfolding. Not necessarily action, but if I recall correctly, so our fuel window for today is going to be 55 to 65 laps here. So we're about halfway through that fuel window here at this point in the race. Now, I got to also be kind of wondering in the back of my mind what tires are going to look like, as drivers are allocated 5 sets of tires here for today's race. So I'm going to be wondering here what kind of strategies are going to be played out here as far as, well, tires, fuel. I mean, there's going to be a lot of different choices here that drivers are going to have to make. And frankly, if we stay green the way that we have been, which frankly I hope we do, I'm loving the action that we're seeing right now, things could get quite interesting really, really quickly. So, again, I mentioned it earlier on towards the beginning of the broadcast, drivers are really going to have to keep that in mind in the back of their heads, especially drivers that are currently in the lead, such as Tony Hillbrands, Aaron Smith, and Nicholas Lovell. Look at this, Aaron Smith. I told you, folks, it wouldn't take him very long before he was back up here duking it out for the top 3 or even the lead. Aaron Smith has shown quite the dominance here in the season. Even though he's not exactly up there in the championship, he is currently actually sitting in 10th place in the championship right now after last week's race. He moved himself up 4 spots after last week's race at Michigan. So, and with that, he's also won 5 races this entire season. I don't know, folks. Aaron Smith, kind of the underdog here in the VRL Cup Series. I got to give a shout out to my man, Aaron Smith. He personally, these are the kind of drivers that I like to root for, the underdogs, if you will. Anyway, that's kind of the whole purpose of Team Goon Squad, am I right? Anyway, so Tony Hillbrands, Aaron Smith, Nicholas Lovell, Ashley Lyle, Howie Briss, all stacked up in your top 5 here at this moment in the race. And I got to say, really good racing that we're seeing right now. I really hope that you folks at home are enjoying what you're seeing, because I know that I certainly am. Right now, actually, I think it's going to be a great time. Let's actually ride on board here with Nicholas Lovell in the number 37 car, and let's have a lap around here, around Texas Motor Speedway for the Texas 250 with VRL for the VRL Cup Series. fantastic driving all around, and frankly, I am just loving what we're seeing here tonight. A lot of very calm, very steady, and patient racing that we're seeing for the most part here, as we're seeing Sean Williams as well as Charles Jurek duking it out side by side there. Sorry, my brain had a dial-up moment there for a second. Anyway, checking back in with our leaders here. Aaron Smith able to work his way back up into first place. Now going to have an opportunity to lead some laps here as well. Tony Hillbrand's having some pressure here from Ashley Lyle just behind him. Starting to see some of that come into play here. Here's, we're going to have a in-car camera view of Jaden Hopp's machine down on the bottom right-hand side of our screen. You can see Nicholas Lavelle having fallen back here just a little bit from our drivers up here in the top three, and it might be that point in the race here where some of these drivers might be starting to think more about saving those tires just a little bit more, trying to prolong the life of them just a little bit longer than their competitors. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but when you can make it work for yourself and you can put yourself out ahead of your opponents, it's always a great feeling. Here is Ashley Lyle trying to maneuver down on the inside of Tony Hillbrand's here on lap 35 of 167. Just getting more views of what's happening around the field here. You can see Sean Williams on the right-hand side of your screen, down on the inside of Cody Miller, battling for 9th place right now. Or excuse me, yep, that is 9th place. Down the back straightaway, heading into turn 3. Again, very smooth, very clean out of this entire field. I am just loving what we're seeing here. I really am not sure when we're going to see the first driver come down into pit road. I mean, it's going to be one of the drivers that's towards the back of the field, midfield possibly, that's probably going to take the first bite for pit stops. That's usually what happens, and the top 5 down to maybe the top 10 usually try and stick it out the longest. But I am curious, knowing that we're going to see probably 3 maybe 4 pit stops here in tonight's race, just how early or how late some of these drivers are going to want to stay out, because again, Texas here, not an easy track. Not easy by any stretch of the imagination there. Nicholas Lovell, who, I don't know if you caught that on your televisions, folks, or whatever you're watching the broadcast on, but that 37 machine, that rear end started to look mighty unsettled there for a moment. Keeping it together, though, and what I'm starting to see here is some pretty gnarly separation here towards our drivers in the front of the field right now. There we see Aaron Smith, the number 70 car. Ashley Lyle just behind him, nearly 3/4 of a second behind the leader right now. And just behind Ashley Lyle is Tony Hillbrand's, who's currently sitting also just about 1/4 of a second behind the 51 machine right now. So I think that some of these drivers are starting to see that tire wear come into play here. Those tires definitely cannot be too thrilled about the action here tonight. Again, just a very tricky oval that Texas Motor Speedway is. I mean, this surface can get very hot and burn these tires off very, very quickly. And I think that might be, well, a lot of what we're starting to see here is, again, a lot of this field has spread out to the point to where it's noticeable. Even on our track map that you can see on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, there's not a whole lot of groups formed right now. the one that we're looking at between Scott Shire and Daniel Mosteller, among one of the only few remaining out on track right now. Just behind them, Sean Williams and Jaden Hopper duking it out, kind of side by side, if you will, or rather bumper to bumper. So again, the fuel window was 55 to 65 laps here for today's race. 2 drivers have already come down into the pits. William Britton has already called it a night here in the number 64 car on lap 17. I noticed he came down a while ago. Not exactly certain what it was for, but it looks like ultimately William has decided to call it a night here. I'm assuming that he's got real life adult things to go do. And unfortunately that does not involve ripping it around Texas Motor Speedway here with the Velocity Racing League here tonight, but that is a-okay. It's still great to see the number 66 car out on track when we can and when we do. And the other, actually, speaking of which, it was 64 car of William Britton, not the 66 machine of Max Neuwirth, who has come down into the pits here relatively early, lap 44 of 167. Uncertain if he's coming in for damage to that machine or what the case might be here. Either way, that is going to be one of the first drivers in and out of pit lane here as he's making his way now back out onto track. Caitlin Height, also the number 18 machine, came down into pit road, but she came in lap 1 and was there for quite some time as well. Okay, I'm a little confused by that one. Anyway, I don't think Caitlin Height actually was down into pit lane during the race itself. I believe it was during the formation lap that she was down there. Anyhow, we've got some action brewing here between Patrick Colby, Daniel Mosteller, Scott Shire here for 7th place down the front straightaway. Patrick Colby trying to tuck in down on the inside of Scott Shire. Scott trying to make a block here, going out of turn 1. Not a turn 2, and down the back straightaway here. Excuse me, that's out of 4. Oh, Shire, keep it together, keep it together. Colby there with a little bit of a checkup. Keeping it real smooth here, trying to do all that they can. Oh, they're side by side and they make contact. Sean Williams scrubs doors with Scott Shire there. No, that is not good. Little bit of damage. I don't think too much is going to come of that, but that was extremely close here for both drivers. And that, I mean, frankly, that just really shows here just how much tires these guys are losing here. As Thomas Sewell, the number 77, Scott Shire as well, the number 4 car, making their way down into pit lane here for the very first time on lap 48 of 167. So I believe these will be the first official pit stops here under green flag conditions for these drivers that are on the lead lap here currently. And there goes Tony Hilbrands, the number 92 machine, deciding to take it a little bit early here as well. So I don't know, folks. This is gonna get interesting here really fast. Aaron Smith still holding on to the lead here. But when exactly he's going to decide to come down into pit lane, it remains the question here. Because we still got some side-by-side. Oh, whoa! I think that was Lovell that just made a heck of a dive down into pit lane. That looked, I don't know if that was just my eye just playing tricks on me or what, but Lovell just looked like he made a heck of a dive down into pit lane. Either way, he's making it in nice and clean into his pit stall, and hopefully gonna get on a fresh set of tires, get some fuel, and get back out there. We've still got some heated battles happening here. 5th place right here between Patrick Colby, Charles Jurek. You can see Sean Williams just behind him as well. Howie Briss also now making his way down into pit lane. Sean Williams here going way up high and kind of letting these drivers on by. Actually, that's going to be Tony Hilbrand's. Seemingly that they're letting on by there on the fresher set of tires. And that really shows just how much faster you are and how much slower you are once your tires are completely degraded. It's incredible just how much speed you lose when those tires are completely degraded and you have to come back down into pits to get a fresh set. Otherwise, you're going to risk blowing them out, and then you're really hurting in speed at that point. But so far, no one's blowing any tires out or blowing any motors out of their cars here yet today, as we see the number 53 machine of Michael Keithley making his way down into pit lane here. And I'm still curious to know when Aaron Smith's just going to decide to make his way down into pit road here as well. I gotta imagine it's gotta be soon here. It has to be soon. I can't imagine that he's gonna want to be staying out much longer, just looking at the lay of the land currently. Ashley Lyle also making her way down into pit lane here. You can see the Morton Salt 51 machine coming down pit road here, and Aaron Smith now seeing some of the drivers also making their way back out on the track, and is probably going to give him a little bit of an indicator. Hey, I should probably come down here soon. But frankly, folks, it's only lap 55. Drivers, I mean, still realistically have another 10 laps to go on fuel before they really need to come in, and they are going to be coming in on fumes at that point if they do decide to stay out longer than what they are predicting here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. So far, no one well, we have yet to see if anyone's going to blow past that prediction mark, but I really don't expect to see anyone try that here tonight. It could just be too risky here as Aaron Smith with the quick dive out of 4. And into pit lane, and Mosteller, Jaden Hopp as well following in behind him. And the rest of the field also going to do the same here, as that's going to start. Will probably be the end of what is our first official pit stop here tonight. There's only a couple other drivers left out on track that need to come down into pit lane. That's Charles Jurek, the number 76 machine, who's currently leading the race, that now needs to make his way down into pit lane and get himself a fresh set of tires and fuel as well here for today's race. But Aaron Smith quickly making his way back out onto track. Lap 58 of 167 here for the Texas 250 for the VRL 2022 Cup Series. And now that drivers have all made their way through pit lane, Charles Jurek now also making his way down into the pits here in the number 76 car. I'm going to assume that Patrick Colby is going to do the same here. here as we're taking a look at the number 9 car, and look who's sitting in second place here. The number 18, also the Morton Salt Machine of Caitlin Height, currently sitting in second place once the 9 of Patrick Colby is in. Well, actually, no, I take that back. Caitlin here is also going to have to come down into pit lane here as she was in on lap 1 for some odd reason, but I don't think that was during, I think that was before we took the green flag. I could be wrong on that, but anyway, Caitlin Height here going to be in second place right now. She's also going to have to come down into the pits. So once those two drivers come down into pit road, it's going to be Tony Hilbrand, Aaron Smith, and Nicholas Lovell all in the top 3. And I got to say, it is quite the battle, the gap, excuse me, between these drivers. So we're going to have to see if any of them are going to close that here anytime soon, or if we're going to see any sort of, any sort of yellow come out possibly. I don't want to say it. I hope, well, I already did say it, so I can't really say that. Anyway, for the driver's sakes, I hope we see this race go green all the way until the end. But I'm certain that there's got to be some drivers out there that are probably hoping and praying for that caution to come out, because frankly, once you get that field restacked, things can change in the snap of a finger. One turn is all it takes here to make or break a race. So, with that in mind here, now that drivers have all made their way through pit lane, with the exception of Caitlin Height now, as Patrick Colby is making his way down into pit road, we're going to take a very quick commercial break here, folks. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Grab yourself a snack, a drink if you haven't already. And we are going to be back with more of the Texas 250 here for the VRL 2022 Cup Series. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back for more iRacing right here on Team Goon Squad. Welcome back, race fans. We've got Jaden Hopp here making his way around Ashley Lyle here for 6th place. Hope you all didn't miss me too much. We are back here for the action at Texas Motor Speedway after our first green flag pit stops of the night, and our field now having to figure out where they're going to find themselves at the moment out on track and start to plan for their next pit stop. This is where things start to get really interesting, folks, because when you're in this sort of situation, you can't really see the driver ahead of you at least all that well. I mean, you maybe be able to see him down the track just a little ways, but trying to close that gap, you know, right now between Jaden Hopp and Daniel Mosteller, it's nearly 3 seconds of a gap between these two drivers. So it's extremely tough to kind of rely on, you know, hey, I'm just going to capitalize when this guy's a little bit slower going into this turn, etc. and so on. You have to start to strategize. You have to think bigger picture and start to think, okay, when can I come down into pit road and position myself ahead of this guy or other drivers to be able to put myself up into the spot that I want to be in, whether that's the lead, whether that's in second place or third place. Marcus Regal also saying that Caitlin Height started in pit road. That makes sense. Thank you for that clarification. I was a little bit confused by that myself, but anyhow, we've got that figured out. So Caitlin Height here, after deciding to opt to start from the pits, doing quite phenomenal here, sitting in 14th right now. After that pit cycle, she came down a lap 62, it would appear here. So again, a lot of these drivers here have to start preparing themselves in planning for that second green flag pit stop if it comes around. The only other thing that they can really rely on is a caution, and we don't necessarily want to see that happen here. I mean, as much as we, enjoy seeing Rex up here in the booth, I'm sure as many of you like seeing them at home. Granted, here in the sim world, we don't have to worry about expensive cars and, well, the lives of drivers. We can just kind of enjoy it. No real harm, no foul. Here in the sim racing world, it's all fun and games here. But Tony Hillbrands, Aaron Smith, and Howie Briss all in this top three right now. This is where the strategizing really has to come into play. And even as I say that, though, Aaron Smith has done a phenomenal job kind of placing himself as close to Tony Hillbrands as possible. I'm not sure if this was intentional, if this was just kind of accidental. Either way, either how, the 70 car finding itself as close as he can to Tony Hillbrands, battling for the lead here. Lap 71 of 167, and considering just looking at how the field is spread out right now, there's a really good view on the bottom right-hand side of your screen of the track map here at Texas Motor Speedway. That gives us a really good idea of where all of our drivers are stacked up on the field right now here, as Aaron Smith down on the inside of Tony Hillbrands. He's going to make that move nice and smooth out of turn 4. Down across the checkered line here. That's going to bring us lap 72 of 167. So Aaron Smith, again, I mentioned it earlier in the broadcast. Aaron here, a very confident driver going into today's race, knowing that he won the race in last year's season and also led basically 98% of the laps. You could probably call it even 99% of the laps of that race here. So Aaron Smith definitely knows what he's doing, and it's starting to show here, I would say, given going into almost what is now going to be in about 10 laps or so, will be the halfway point in today's race. And I gotta say, this has been phenomenal. Truly phenomenal. I mean, we've gone 73 green flag laps. No one has really, we've seen a couple, shuffling and banging here throughout the field, but no one's really done anything too risky or too brave that has really put the rest of the field at a disadvantage, I guess is the best way I can describe it. But point being, it's been green clean racing all the way through here, and I am just all for it. Folks, if you're watching at home, if you're liking what you're seeing, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Helps us out as well as helps out the Velocity Racing League, supporting what they do, and, well, lets them know that the people enjoy what they see. I know that I certainly do, but I can't speak for everyone watching at home. So thank you again for everyone who tunes in every single week, hits that like button, subscribes, chimes in the chat, talks with us up here in the booth, talks about the race. We love having you. It's always great to have an audience that supports and loves what we do here on Team Goon Squad, as well with the Velocity Racing League. And you remember how I was saying that Aaron Smith and Tony Hillbrands were kind of stacked up on each other there for a moment? The gap now between Aaron Smith and Tony Hillbrands has increased to now almost, it's a second and a tenth now between Tony Hillbrands and Aaron Smith. Oh man, that is just incredible here. I don't know if Tony is just trying to stay a little bit more conservative this time around, and maybe he's trying to plan things a little bit further ahead. Not really too certain. This is where, again, strategizing is going to be your friend. You have to start preparing and plan on where you're going to come down into pit road. If you're someone that's down, 6-7 positions from the driver from the spot that you want to be in, you kind of have to start rolling the dice. You have to take a gamble. You have to take a bet on what is going to work to put yourself up there, or even maybe just get yourself just that little bit closer to that point. Again, easier said than done, but that is what drivers are going to start to do here as, frankly, we're ticking off laps more and more, and the field is not bunching up any closer together. We're still seeing gaps of averaging right now, it seems like about a second between most of our drivers. We got a couple 3 seconds, 1 10-second, and so on and so forth. So unless these drivers see a yellow come out, they're gonna have to start preparing for the next few pit stops here under green flag and seeing what they can do with that here. And it looks like last year at Texas Motor Speedway, there was 4 leaders in the race with 5 lead changes, as well as 5 cautions for the entirety of the race, with a grand total of 18 laps under yellow flag. So, right now, I would say that these drivers are off to an incredible start here. Well, I shouldn't even say start. I would say to an incredible race here, given that we're almost to the halfway point, and everyone is just racing smooth as you possibly can here. So taking a look back, last week's race at Michigan, Nicholas Lovell was able to take away the win in that number 37 machine, with Jaden Hopp, the number 81 car, able to take second place, and Aaron Smith able to take home third place here for that race last week. And I gotta say, that was quite the race that we saw at MIS. I was quite enthralled with what I saw there, and frankly, I look forward to the next time that we do go there, if we ever happen to go there, here with VRL going into the future. But right now we're here at Texas, and this has been quite the phenomenal race here as well. And for these drivers, I really have to wonder what some of their game plans are going to be here. I mean, so right now we're kind of scattered all over the place as far as where drivers came in that first time under green flag conditions. I mean, we've got drivers that came in lap 47, 56, 49, 61. It's all over the place. It's very scattered right now. So a lot of drivers, I don't know. We're at the point in the race where we still have at least 2 more pit stops. 2, maybe 3 more pit stops here before the checkered flag is flown here for the Texas 250. Some of these drivers here might kind of be in the conservative saving mode, trying to conserve those tires, conserve that fuel as much as they can, prolong their stints as much as they possibly can here. And the hug guy asked if I'm sorry, I didn't see this earlier. I just saw this now. He asked if I was streaming the FEG League tonight. I do not cover the FEG Truck Series or the Cup Series. I think they run over there. I believe James East is the one that covers the action over there at this point in time. But I do believe there still is a race tonight. I'm not 100% certain on when it is. I believe it starts here pretty soon. But either way, either how, we've got all kinds of racing happening on the Team Goon Squad channel. You got to get yourself subscribed. Check out all the racing that we have here day in, day out. Whether it's ARCA, Next Gen Cup Series, Formula 1, Formula 3. We got all sorts of shenanigans happening every single day of the week as we've got our first caution of the race here. And it's going to be James Coulibaly. Oh boy, let's see what happens here. Here for James Coulibaly looking... Oh, that's the wrong view here. Here's, we're going to have to take one more look at this, see exactly what unfolded. Oh dear. Okay. All right, so it looks like Patrick Colby and Scott Shire are both involved in a wreck here. Let's take a look here at what happened. So here's, we're working our way through turns 3 and 4. Patrick Colby trying to duck down to the inside line. A little bit of a tap there to the bumper of the 4 of Scott Shire. They go side by side. Another tap to the rear quarter panel of Patrick Colby. He goes hitting the wall. The top wall here going down the front straightaway. That 9 machine is looking mighty unhappy here, as that is going to be our first caution of the race here today. As we got a field of drivers, the whole field of drivers actually, making their way through pit lane. And back out onto track, it's Aaron Smith, Tony Hilbrands, Daniel Mosteller, all stacked up here, top 3 at this moment, as they all race to get back behind the pace truck here. I gotta say, that was, you know, as small as that was, that's exactly the kind of wreck that I was almost anticipating out of a track like Texas. You know, it's just a very slick track, and trying to keep yourself competitive, it's tough. You can really overdo it on this track very easily. So now that we're stacked back up, this is may or may not be what the drivers were hoping for, but this is going to give an opportunity to drivers to kind of shake the action back up here and see what they can possibly do here going into what is now going to be the final half of the Texas 250. And now that all the drivers have come down into pit lane, lap 87, everyone is going to be on basically equal playing field. So Aaron Smith, Tony Hilbrands, Daniel Mosteller, Jaden Hopp, Ashley Lyle, all our top 5 drivers here. Aaron Smith having won the race last year and having led what I would have to assume probably the majority of laps here this race. Going to be possibly looking at taking away another win here and tacking on another win to his what is now 5 wins here at Velocity Racing League for the 2022 Cup Series. as the pace truck makes its dive down into pit road. Waiting for the green flag to drop, and away it goes. Back to green flag racing here, lap 91 of 167, charging our way into turn 1. Let's see what these drivers got here. Aaron Smith off to a very good start here. Daniel Mosteller just behind. Tony Hilbrand's down on the inside here as they work their way out of 2, down the back straightaway, heading towards turn 3. Relatively smooth for the most part here. We're going to ride on the roof camera of Jaden Hopp here in the 81 car for just a moment. Oh, we're already wrecking. Oh, that was close. That was very, very close here, folks. Jaden Hopp there got a little bit of a tap from behind. I believe that was from Sean Williams. Almost unsettling these cars, but keeping it together. Out of turn 4, down the front straightaway. Again, everyone on that equal, level playing field. Look at these drivers charging their way down the back straightaway. Here's we got the battle for the lead happening just up ahead. We're looking at Nicholas Lavelle on the left-hand side of your screen. Tony Hilbrands and Ashley Lyle as well, also kind of duking it out here side by side. Couple drivers taking it side by side here towards the midfield. Again, no one really trying any too risky maneuvers. We got a couple of drivers that want to go side by side and take it down the back straightaway. Looked like the number 51 there of Ashley Lyle taking the move down on the inside of Aaron Smith on the left-hand side of your screen. Or the right-hand side of your screen, excuse me. Now we're going to bring it to center screen here as the battle heats up for the lead. Lap 96 of 167. The 51 Morton Salt Machine back out in front. As the 70 car of Aaron Smith trying to do all that he can here. Stuck on the outside here. He's going to have to make something happen as they come out of turn 4. Cloud cover starting to come over the track here. That's going to also come into play if it sticks around long enough. It's going to cool down that track, bring the temperatures down. Drivers are going to start to see, well, actually, it might actually help them in this case. It might give them just a little bit more grip, as here at Texas Motor Speedway, the track could be just excruciatingly hot. So they might actually see a benefit from that track cooling off just slightly. But it also depends here just how long that cloud coverage is going to stick around, because it might not last very long here. Charging our way down the back straightaway, heading into turn 3 now. You're looking at the in-car camera of Jaden Hopp, the 81 machine. Here is Aaron Smith, sitting in second place right now, trying to stay hot on the tail of Ashley Lyle. Not quite. You know, and Ashley's has done a phenomenal job at defense here in this race, preventing anyone from trying to get down to that inside line to take advantage of that, or even push her out of that inside line here. because we've seen it here all night, folks. Not a whole lot of drivers are really able to make that pass work around the outside. You really kind of have to stay down low and utilize that speed, unless you have some help on the outside, but no one really wants to take that risk, as once you come out of turn 2 or 4, you risk smacking that wall, and that's the last thing that you want to do in a race like this. But Aaron Smith not giving up. He is pushing and charging everything that he's got in that number 70 machine. We're going to ride on board here with Daniel Mosteller for a lap or two and get a listen in on the 87 car along with Daniel Mosteller. Steady moving here through the field. Daniel Mosteller seeing the shaking and moving happening up ahead of him. We're 2 wide, 3 deep here for the lead. A lap 103 of 167. Aaron Smith still hard in the lead at this moment. Well, actually back in the lead, I should say, as Ashley Lyle was up there leading this field here for a couple laps. But Aaron Smith, that number 70 machine, back up here with Cody Miller now in the number 28 car, sitting in second place here. Ashley Lyle a little bit too hot coming out of turn 4. Or excuse me, that was turn 2. Scrapes the wall, drops down here to 11th. She is going to opt to come down here into pit road, and it looks like that number 51 machine has quite the damage done to it as well. Hopefully we don't see that number 51 machine down there for too long here, as the action continues to brew on track. Battle for the lead happening on the left-hand side of your screen. Meanwhile, the tail end of this field, Scott Shire sitting in 10th place here right now. This is the tail end of this string of drivers that we have, all charging their way down the back straightaway now. Everyone's single file right now. Couple drivers moving and grooving, shaking and baking just a little bit further back. It looks like Howie Briss, the number 97 machine, possibly trying to break up some air from behind him of Nicholas Lovell, just behind, sitting in 5th place right now. We've also got Jaden Hopke, a number 81 car. I mean, all of these drivers right now are all pretty much stacked up bumper to bumper here at this point in the race. And now that we've also seen all of these drivers come in for their second pit stop of the night, rather. I have a feeling that there's only going to be the one final pit stop here tonight, so it looks like it is going to be only a 3-stop race. have the feeling that the next time the drivers come down will be about lap 140. And at that point, it'll be a shootout all the way until the very end right now. And look at this, we've got a shootout happening for third place right now. Howie Briss trying to hold off Cody Miller as well as Nicholas Lovell. Here as we're going to ride on the roof cam of Jaden Hopp here, the number 81 car. Sitting in 5th place right now. Jaden Hopp has the 28 machine of Cody Miller on his right side right now. You can't see him there, but he is there. As we charge our way across the checkered line, it's lap 111 of 167 here at Texas Motor Speedway. Only one caution that we've seen here in the race tonight, and frankly, I've got to say, that was probably the most conveniently timed caution of the race. Here for these drivers, getting this field a chance to get stacked back up, re-racked, and put on some more exciting action here. I don't think that there was any other way, better way for that to have played out. Unfortunate for the drivers that were involved in that incident. But for the sake of the race here, I think that it definitely made things a lot more interesting. Here's we've got Nicholas Lovell, Howie Briss, both side by side here as they come out of turn 4. Lovell down on the... Ooh, who is this? Someone is... James Coulibaly. Not again. Hang on a second. We're going to see what exact... Oh, whoa. Locking it up big time there. What is going on with James here tonight? The number 12 car said he went off track there for a moment. I'm not sure if he's having some technical difficulties or his wheel or his pedals or something's going on here. He definitely seems like something's not quite right here in that 12 car tonight. Here is the 66 of Max Neuwirth tries to makes the pass around him. Down on the inside, Max Neuwirth also a couple laps down here at this point in the race, trying to get himself back up into the lead lap. With the way the race is going right now, I'm not certain how easy that's going to be here. Oh no! Charles Jurek gets a little bit of a tap. He gets spun down the front straightaway heading into turn 1. We got to back it up, folks. We're going to take a look at what happened here. Oh, he gets a little bit of a tap from the rear end. Here as we take a look at the replay. Little bit of a tap from the rear end of the 28 machine of Cody Miller. That sends the 76 just spiraling down the front straightaway, and that's going to bring out our next caution here of the race. Lap 116 of 167. And with that, folks, we are going to take a quick commercial break here in the booth. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere because we have more of the Texas 250 here to bring you tonight. And more iRacing right here on Team Goon Squad. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, race fans, to the Texas 250 here with Velocity Racing League of the 2022 Cup Series. Drivers taking advantage of the caution here, dropping down into pit road, getting a fresh set of tires and fuel, as you would normally do, given that there is just under now 50 laps. Exactly 50. Well, I think actually technically 51 laps that we have left here in tonight's race. So this is the perfect time. Get that final stop in. This is really the only chance that you're going to have left. Unless, I'm not even going to say it. I don't want to jinx anything. I want things to keep going the way that they have been going here tonight, because this has been some incredible racing here for these drivers here tonight. And frankly, I got to say, Aaron Smith looking quite promising at this point right now. May possibly be able to take away yet another win here, make himself a back-to-back winner here at Texas Motor Speedway, and maybe even possibly a 6-time winner here in the VRL Cup Series for the 2022 season. So let's see how this is going to stack up here. We also got Jaden Hopp, Daniel Mosteller, second and third place. I know D-Moss has got a little bit of support here in tonight's chat. We've also got Don Hilbrands in the chat as well, supporting Tony Hilbrands, obviously, if the name wasn't obvious enough. But again, great to see all the support here for our drivers and the league in general, week in, week out. I'm sure the drivers all love to see their fans and friends and family come out and support them and give them a little bit of morale boost going into future races, as well as just having a little bit of a euphoric moment, if you will, on the podium. But the lights are off on the pace truck, so this will be the last time that we come around before we go back to green flag racing. And Don Hilbrand saying, the race is getting really exciting. Woo! I'm glad someone said it, because I was starting to think the same thing. All right, there we go. The pace truck makes its way down into pit road. The marshal with the green flag in hand, and down it goes. The driver's stomping on the gas pedal. Lap 120 of 167. This will be what is hopefully going to be the final shootout all the way until the checkered flag. Let's see what these drivers have in store here. Tony Hilbrands, the number 92 machine. Not exactly certain what's going on there. He seems to be a little loose here this time around. Keeping it together, though. Just trying to hold on to this outside line here. Oh, a little bit of shuffling happening towards the front, though. Howie Briss and Nicholas Lovell, they make contact side by side coming out of turn 4. That's going to bring out yet another caution here, as we're going to take a look at the replay, see exactly what unfolded here. Oh, that's a little bit too soon there. Let's back this up here a little bit further. There you see Howie Briss down on the inside. Oh, man, it looks like Lovell came down just super quick to the inside. And I don't think there was no reaction time there for either driver in that situation. I mean, okay, let's take a look at this one more time, folks. And I might even pull this up on the big screen here for you guys, so you guys can see just what I'm talking about. You know what? Here, we'll even do this. Let's take this a little bit closer, and let's slow this down here, because this is just really just, oh, man. Truly a rough situation for both drivers here. Okay, so actually this gives us a little bit more information. Both drivers. Wow, okay, so this is crucial here, folks. You can start to see Howie Briss, Nicholas Lovell actually, he starts to get a little bit sideways there, and then Howie Briss does the same. He comes across that white line. He gets a little unsettled. He comes up into Nicholas Lovell, into the side, the rear quarter panel, sends him spinning, You can see Howie Briss already doing his little dance. Sean Williams also makes a little bit of contact there. Man. Two extremely strong drivers here being put out of the race because of just a small incident. And folks, I said it at the beginning of the broadcast, that's all that it takes here. That is all that it takes. It doesn't matter how talented of a driver you are, how many times you've been around the track. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're Jimmy Broadbent, it doesn't matter if you're Max Verstappen, it doesn't matter if you're Dale Earnhardt Jr. or even Dale Earnhardt himself, the resurrection. Driver, you're going to make a mistake, and it's just unfortunate to see this happen here. This late into the race, and with just how well things have been going, especially for these two drivers. I mean, right now, it looks like Nicholas Lovell didn't suffer too much. He's still up here in 10th place. Now, I can't say the same for Howie Briss. Well, actually, no, you kind of can't say the same for Howie Briss here. The number 97 machine sitting in 13th. And even Thomas Sewell, he mentioned it in chat, a very rare mistake for Howie Briss. And that just goes to show, folks, it doesn't matter who you are. Mistakes can happen, and that's all it was. It was just a simple mistake, and that like I said, folks, there was no reaction time for either one of those drivers to avoid that situation. It was going to happen regardless, and it's tough. It's tough, but that's how racing is. That's how things can change in the snap of a finger. It's very unfortunate to see, but glad to see both drivers are back out on track, still ripping off laps, and still out here to make it all the way until the very end. I don't think either one of them suffered too much damage to their machines, so thankfully, hopefully, they're able to click off clean, consistent laps here, going into what is now going to be about almost 30 laps left to go here. Well, technically it'll be 40 laps here in about 2 laps. But anyway, small technical details. Anyway, folks, I want to take this time again because you all are just so lovely and fantastic. I want to thank you all for tuning in, watching every single week, hitting that like button, subscribing, and doing what you guys do. It's great to have you all here supporting both myself up here in the booth as well as the drivers here in Velocity Racing League, as well as all the other series that you may happen to catch and watch here on Team Goon Squad. Again, great to have you all. We would not be here without your support. And I got to say, it is fantastic being here every single week, calling the action for these drivers. A great, phenomenal bunch of drivers here tonight. And frankly, I look forward more to these races than I do a lot of real-life races, because you just don't get to see a lot of the same action that we see here in the iRacing service. So, great to be here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway as the pace truck makes its dive back down into pit road. The green flag in hand by the marshal once again, and down it goes. Aaron Smith, Jaden Hopp side by side here. A little bit of checkup happening though. A little bit of shuffling happening going into turn 1 here. Oh man, Jaden Hopp there a little delayed on the start. Tony Hilbrand's also suffering from that. Ashley Lyle having to drop back as well. That almost turned into a bloodbath going into turn 1. That could have been very, very bad. We could have rolled right back into a caution, but excellent save from every single one of these drivers here. Going back to green flag here. Lap 125 of 167. Everyone's still trying to get these tires heated back up, back to the temperature that they need to be at to stay competitive. Look at this. It's a battle for the lead. Daniel Mosteller getting a little bit wobbly here, battling it out side by side. He's loose. He's making his way down the bottom of the back straightaway. The caution comes out. The 87 machine dropping back down to 14th place here. Man, a single car incident here going to bring out the caution. Luckily, no other driver here getting involved in this one. It is all Daniel Mosteller here. And I gotta say, I'm sure that Daniel is just kicking himself right now. If I was Daniel right now, I can't, you know what? I can't even imagine right now. Tyler Tinsley in the chat as well. He's not happy about that one either. I'm sure all the Daniel Mosteller fans right now are just livid at this moment here. And I mean, folks, I've only driven this track maybe a couple of times in the ARCA. And I can't even begin to explain or tell you the level of skill it takes to stay fast and consistent like these drivers are. I wish I could say it was easy, but it's not. These drivers are clicking off 31-second lap times like it's nothing. I can't stress to you how difficult it really is here at Texas Motor Speedway. It's truly a tough track. And to see these little mistakes that drivers are making, I mean, frankly, I'm surprised at how little we've seen here tonight as far as mistakes have gone. This is truly phenomenal. Just how clean and consistent these drivers have been this entire race. Now, I want to say, oh man, here we go again with the commentator's curse. You know, I mentioned it at the beginning, kind of actually midway through the broadcast, that last year here at the very same track for the 2021 Cup Series, we saw 5 cautions come out for the race. Now, about halfway through tonight's race, I was saying we were off to a very good start, and that we might not see that same result. Well, I tried, folks. I tried. Anyhow, these drivers all, I can only imagine the level of tension that Aaron Smith might be feeling right now. You know, it's kind of been a back and forth race. I really am curious to know, actually, SDK, if anyone from SDK right now is listening or watching this broadcast right now, please, 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 for the love of God, please give us some information on how many laps a driver has led. Please. Do it for me. If you won't do it for anyone else, do it for me. You probably don't even know me, but anyway, I am very curious to see how many lead changes we've had. I'm very curious to see how long these drivers have been out in the lead, but unfortunately, I do not have that information available at this moment. Maybe somehow in the future I'll be able to change that, but right now, I know that we've seen Aaron Smith leading the race. We've seen, I think, Cody Miller up there at one point. I know we've definitely seen Ashley Lyle up there. Tony Hilbrands, I believe, was up there leading a couple laps. I think I might be missing another driver here or two. I think Nicholas Lovell was also up there leading some laps at some point. And again, I might be missing another driver or two in that lineup, but we've seen a lot of different drivers up here in the lead. But so far, it's been Aaron Smith that has been up here the most, as far as I can tell, but it has not come easy. That is to say the least. We'll get an in-car camera view of Charles Jurek in that number 76 machine down on the bottom right-hand side of your screen as the pace truck is about to make its way back down into pit road. Green flag is up by the marshal. Down it goes and back to green flag racing here at Texas Motor Speedway. Aaron Smith, Cody Miller, both going to be side by side here. Let's see if we have any of the same shuffling that we saw last time around. So far, so good. Everyone's staying real clean this time around. A little bit of a scrape there, it looks like, from Caitlin Height. Oh, man, a big, big dive. Looks like they're from, I believe, Howie. No, that was not Howie Briss. I believe that was Michael Keithley. Oh, man, look at how loose these cars are, folks. They are just all over this track right now, just scrambling to try and find grip anywhere that they possibly can. Man, oh man, you see on the left-hand side of your screen, looking at Sean Williams right now. He's got a few drivers making their way around him. You still got Charles Jurek on the right-hand side of your screen, now hot on the heels of Sean Williams in the 89 car. Single file for the most part through a majority of our field now. Lap 133 of 167. Almost 30 laps left to go here in tonight's race. Here, Tony Hillbrands and Nicholas Lovell both side by side here. Oh, little bit of a wiggle there from the 92 car. That's going to let Lovell on by here, moving his way up into the top 5 now. There you see Howie Briss, who we saw made that contact with Nicholas Lovell earlier on, trying to work his way back up here into the top 5, making his way around Sean Williams into 8th place here. Now he's got Scott Shire to work around in the number 4 Fox machine. Couple wall bangs happening here. A couple drivers look like Ashley Lyle, maybe even Scott Shire there. Again, once you're stuck on that outside line, it's almost impossible not to give a little bit of a scrape to that wall unless you're very, very careful. Here's, we've got a little bit of shuffling happening with Charles Jurek, Scott Shire, and Sean Williams. You can see Daniel Mosteller here as well, up into 11th place, trying to get his way back up as much of this field as he possibly can after having dropped back from, I believe, what was 2nd or 3rd place. Sean. Oh, Sean getting mighty, mighty loose here coming out of what I think that was turn 2. So here, as the field now getting back into their single file rhythm, we're going to be entering lap 140 of 167. And ignore the caution there. That is not actually true. We're just taking a look at a top-down picture view here. We've got Charles Jurek as well as Sean Williams on the bottom of our screen. We're looking at the leader, or the battle, well, not necessarily the battle, but the string of drivers in the lead right now. Currently focused on Cody Miller in the number 28 car, sitting in 3rd place. It's Ashley Lyle, the number 51 machine. Trying to find some room here. Possibly make a pass, but none of these drivers are going to be making it easy on any of each other here at this point. Especially considering just how close the point standings are. And speaking of points, if you'll remember, Nicholas Lovell, there I did it again, strike two. Nicholas Lovell is only 71 points behind the leader, Howie Briss. And Howie right now is actually behind Nicholas in standings right now, currently sitting in 7th place with Nicholas sitting in 5th. This could get rather interesting here as we've got an interesting battle happening on the top of our screen between Ashley Lyle, Cody Miller, as well as Nicholas Lovell. Little side-by-side action in here happening. Down the back straightaway, heading into turn 3. Let's actually ride on board here with Tony Hillbrands for just a moment. And let's have a lap around with the number 92 car here for the Texas 250. Steady racing here for a lot of these drivers here with 22 laps left to go for the Texas 250 for the 2022 Velocity Racing League Cup Series. As we've got quite some action brewing up here, folks. Daniel Mosteller having moved his way back up into 7th place now. Tyler, if you're still watching, I hope you're pretty satisfied with that right now because Daniel is not giving up here. That number 87 machine still has some fight left in it, and I don't think, well, I'm not certain whether or not he's going to be able to push his way into the top 3, but the top 5 is definitely in the window of opportunity here. All he's got to do is stay consistent, stay clean, and he might be able to push his way up there, as right now he's only got the 97. I say only, but he's got quite the driver ahead of him of Howie Briss, the number 97 car. He's going to have to be able to push his way around Howie to be able to push his way into 6th place right now. And frankly, between Howie Briss, ooh, man, a little bit of a shuffle happening here between these two drivers. I'm sorry, I got a little distracted there. It looked like Howie Briss and Daniel were going to get into it there for just a moment, but 19 laps left to go. It's all focus here from here on out. All these drivers are just completely focused on clicking off the best laps that they possibly can, as clean as they possibly can. Why do I keep saying that? And frankly, if we keep seeing these little bit of battles happening between Ashley Lyle, Tony Hillbrands, Could even kind of include Nicholas Lovell in that mix. Oh, there it is. That's going to stack them all right up to each other. Oh, and even just behind them, Caitlin Height and Cody Miller getting a little side-by-side action. Tyler also saying one caution changes everything, and I got to agree with you there. All it takes is one caution, and everything that we're seeing right now could be completely thrown out the window. Oh, Tony, keep it together, buddy. Getting right up door to door there with Ashley Lyle heading into turn one. Ashley getting shoved up to the outside. She's trying to hold on to it. Not going to come without a cost, though. Scraping the wall down out of turn two. Scott Shire trying to avoid that. Possibly. I don't think he was trying to avoid anything there. I think he just got a little loose there coming out of two. But we're still stacked up here for third. This is the battle for third place, and it's basically a four-way battle with with Nicholas Lovell, Howie Briss, and Daniel Mosteller. Lovell still right hot on the heels of Tony Hilbrands here, trying to do everything in his power. Here as we get an in-car camera view of Howie Briss in the number 97 car. On the right-hand side of your screen, you see Tony Hilbrands, Nicholas Lovell both dropping down way to the inside, heading into turn three. Tony Hilbrands trying to break up some of that air there. You see Howie Briss almost make contact to the rear end of Daniel Mosteller. 14 laps left to go here at Texas Motor Speedway for the Texas 250. Aaron Smith, meanwhile, in the front of the pack. Jaden Hopp, the only other driver within his sights right now. Jaden Hopp up 13 positions from the start of this race here tonight, sitting in second place and might even possibly be looking at trying to take a win here with 13 laps left to go. The chance is still there. Will he be able to take advantage of that? Have to keep an eye on that going forward as we're three wide here for just a moment heading into turn one. Literally for just a moment. That would have been interesting to see a three wide battle there going into turn. Ooh, Mosteller, come on, buddy. 12 laps left to go. Mosteller with a little bit of a scrape to the wall. He keeps it together, holding on to fifth place. He's still right on the tail of Nicholas Lovell. Tony Hilbrands able to break away from this pack here into third place. He's got about a half a second gap between himself and Nicholas Lovell in the 37 machine. But look at this, the battle for the lead. Oh, Jaden Hopp down on the inside here, heading into turn one. 10 laps left to go. Are we going to see a new leader here at Texas Motor Speedway? I think we are as we come out of turn two. Down the back straightaway, it's the 81 machine in front of the 70, but only just by inches. They're duking it out side by side back into turn three. Hopp still with the inside line advantage, but Aaron Smith, again, knows what he's doing here at Texas Motor Speedway, having won the race last year. Let's see if that's going to show this time around. Still battling it out side by side. with 9 laps left to go. The battle for the lead is intensifying, as well as the battle for third place on the bottom of your screen. Jaden Hopp still trying to hold on to that inside line up on the top of your screen. Both drivers getting a little bit wobbly here, but we're wrecking on the bottom of our screen here. The caution is out. What in the world happened? Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, we're going to take this back here real quick, folks. This is a pretty simple incident here, but let's break it down for you. The big one is out here at Texas Motor Speedway. There goes Daniel Mosseller to the inside. The rear quarter panel of Tony Hilbrand sends him spinning around. Nicholas Lovell nowhere to go but into the rear end of the 87 machine. That's going to collect 3 drivers there. Looks like Howie Briss involved in that one. Possibly Scott Shire. I can't see through all the smoke there. Nope, that is the 28 of Cody Miller. But that is going to be it, though. For that stint. Wow. What a way to bring out the next caution here. That was tough. Tough is the only way that I can simply put that. Here, as we get a good view of the pit lane. So after all the drivers have come back down here through pit lane, getting themselves what is going to be the last set of tires and last bit of fuel that they're going to need here for the race here tonight. Again, what a way to bring out a caution here. That was rough. Let's actually go back. I want to take one more look at that here. So here we see it. There you see Tony Hilbrand. He's dropping down to the inside line. Let's back that up here just a little bit more. So you see Tony, he's coming down. But he's also a little bit loose there, it looks like. And maybe not fully aware that there's still a car to his inside. Didn't have enough room to squeeze in. Or maybe he did think that there was enough room and just ultimately collected into the 87 of Daniel. That's super tough. And I mean, folks, the thing about iRacing, and with most drivers, they'll race with a crew chief, they'll race with someone, a virtual crew chief, or maybe even a real life, someone helping them out, talking in their ear, just letting them know, hey, there's a driver on your inside, or the gap is this, that, you need to come into pits, blah, 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 doing general crew chiefing things. And the crew chief that you get with iRacing, let's just be honest, it is not always the best at letting you know when things are happening or when drivers are down on your inside at the most, let's say, convenient of times. There are some other softwares that allow you to do a little bit better job of that, but things aren't always perfect, and you can have those mistakes happen. It is software. It's not always perfect. But that's just one of the things that you kind of have to be aware of as a driver when you're racing in one of these leagues or series, is that you can't fully rely on well, things like that to help you out. And that might not have even been the case there. It could have just been a purely just, it's a racing incident is what it boils down to. But the lights are off on the pace truck. So when we come out of turn 4 here, just in a moment, once we cross the checkered line, it'll be 3 laps left to go. And this will be the final laps of the race here tonight, and away we go. Jaden Hopp, Aaron Smith, both side by side here. Howie Briss, Cody Miller, Nicholas Lavelle, Charles Jurek. Let's see how this field's going to stack back up this time around. Oh no, the caution's already back out here. Oh boy. Let's see what happened here. Oh, it starts up front with Scott Shire. Getting a little bit loose. Ashley Lyle involved, and then James Coulibaly also getting involved in the mix here. So, with that in mind here, folks, I do believe... I think we're going to end the race under yellow flag conditions here. I think this is going to be the end of the race. I don't think that we're going to have, if my memory serves me right, this will be the end of the race here, folks. Let's just give it a few moments here. Let's get the field stacked back up. But if I'm not mistaken here, this is going to be how the field is going to end, as we're not going to have any laps left there. No, actually, no. Okay. No, we're not. So we are going to have a 3-lap shootout until the end. So we're dipping into our green-white checkered attempts here tonight. Yeah, Tyler, I could be mistaken on that. I'm pretty sure that they only have the one, possibly. They might have unlimited GWCs. I can't ever remember correctly. But either way, either how, I mean, this is going to be an interesting shootout all the way until the end. 3 laps that these guys have to complete here. And it's just getting spicier and spicier. But for Aaron Smith, I mean, he is looking rather comfortable. But I say that, but he's got Jaden Hopp, who is just also hot on the heels of that number 70 machine and looking to secure yet another win for himself, sitting in 3rd place in the championship right now. I don't know. Things are looking rather interesting up here towards the front of the field. So here's, we're just awaiting for the lights on the pace truck to go out before we go back to green flag racing here. I do believe they're going to go out once we cross the line. And indeed they do. So once we come back around, the pace truck will dive back down to pit lane, and hopefully this is going to be the last time that we see the checkered or the green flag come out, and hopefully we see the checkered flag fly. There we go, the pace truck making its dive down into pit road. The green flag is up and down it goes here at Texas Motor Speedway for the Texas 250. Let's see what these drivers have in store heading into turn 1. We're double wide all the way through the field here for the most part. Out of turn 2 and back down the back straightaway. Just keeping a wide open view here on the field as we work our way now out of turn 3 and 4. Out onto the front straightaway. The white flag is out here as Aaron Smith with a nice, comfortable lead over the rest of the field, but Daniel Mosteller not quite having what he's looking for here. Gets a little bit loose, not bringing anything else of it, though. Here as the white flag is still out, and as we come out of turn 4 here with the leader on the right-hand side of your screen, the checkered flag flies. It's a close battle for what is third place. But that is going to be what is the end of our race here today at Texas Motor Speedway for the Texas 250. With Aaron Smith, the number 70 machine, bringing yet another win to tack on to his record for the season. Here as we have our post-race results up on our screen, Aaron Smith with the win, Jaden Hopp in second, Howie Briss in third, Cody Miller in fourth, Nicholas Lovell in fifth, Sean Williams in sixth place, Charles Jurek in seventh, Ashley Lyle in eighth, Michael Keithley in ninth, Tony Hilbrands in 10th place, rounding out our top 10 for tonight's race. As we're going to go ahead and get ourselves ready for our post-race interviews. Starting up first is going to be first up is going to be Howie Briss in the number 97 machine. Howie, sir, do you have a read?
Yeah, copy.
Howie, welcome back to the booth after, an incredible race here tonight. This was a tough one, I gotta say. Texas Motor Speedway, especially the older scan of this track, it always just poses some really interesting racing, and I think tonight was no exception. But Howie, walk me through your night here tonight. It just seemed like this was a race where, you could have played it either on pit strategy, or you could have just played it and just waited out with the cautions and just trying to stay on the field as long as possible. Just walk me through a night here at Texas in the number 97 machine.
Well, it was pretty much up and down. I burned off the right front in the first half, and then pretty much I thought I had it on the pit stops, but then the caution came out, I don't know when. So, and then I got caught speeding on that first set of stops, so I had to go all the way to the back. And then once I finally got back up there, I get caught up in a wreck. I got loose on cold tires, which happens. And surprisingly, it didn't give me too much damage. So I was able to somehow just keep it in, sixth place before that big wreck with Tony, Lovell, Demos, and everything. I don't even know how I made it through that. And then somehow I just managed to sneak away with a third place. So I don't even know why I'm up here, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
Hey, I mean, a podium right now in the season, considering that you are still, until points are updated, you're still the championship leader. And I got to say, with Nicholas Lovell just behind you, just 71 points behind again. Not exactly certain where that's going to stand after tonight's race, but dude, it is getting to be a tense battle for the championship. And I mean, it seems like race after race, there are just more drivers that are putting themselves up there in the top 3, the top 5, and just bringing this battle just even closer and closer all the way to the end of the season here. But I mean, Howie, for yourself, it's been phenomenal keeping yourself up here, staying consistent. I mean, able to pull away, maybe not able to win every single week, but able to pull off consecutive top 5s, top 3s, even top 10s, wherever we happen to be at. I mean, what's kind of your moment? What's kind of your, I guess, mentality right now? We're halfway through the season, and this battle for the championship's only going to get tighter. I mean, what are your kind of your expectations and goals, I guess, going forward?
I think I got to finish in the top 6 almost every week and finish ahead of the 10. No, it's not the 10 car. It's the 37 and the 92 of Hillbrands. So that's my goal. And we got to lead some laps. We have to. I've been meaning to show up to practice on Friday and Sunday nights, but I'm out real life racing, so I don't know if I'll get into a practice session until later this fall until we wrap up real life racing up here.
Well, sometimes real-life racing has got to take priority over the sim racing world, but either way, Howie, you're doing a phenomenal job in the season thus far, even considering, the lack of practice that you may or may not be getting for these races. You're still doing an incredible job, still holding on to that championship lead, and I look forward to seeing you duke it out going on to the rest of the season, frankly. But before I let you go here and celebrate tonight, is there anyone at home watching the broadcast in the booth, or excuse me, at home or in the pit crew that you want to shout out and thank for tonight's race?
Probably grandmother and granddad. They're upstairs. They're probably happy for me that I somehow finished third. Aunt Stephanie, I'm pretty sure she's going to be watching this. I don't know, Mom, Dad, I don't know if they were watching or not. Joe Thomas, he takes me racing every weekend. Got to thank him. Taylor, Sid, great friends of mine. They kind of support me as well. They don't watch it that often, but when I do good, they probably just watch the highlight reel. So, yeah, I think that's all I got. And thank you for broadcasting this and Tony Hillbrands for putting up the league.
Absolutely. Well, Howie, thank you for joining me up here in the booth. Congratulations on your third place finish, and I look forward to seeing you in next week's race at, stand by, it's going to be Indianapolis. Ooh.
Hey, I got it right.
All right, and that is going to be a crown jewel race as well, so a little bit of money on the line as well for drivers that qualify. But Howie, thank you for joining me up here in the booth, and I will see you next week.
Yeah, see ya.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Hey.
Oops, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Howie. I apologize for that, but that is the number 97 car out of the booth here tonight, taking home third place. Up next is going to be Jaden Hopp, the number 81 car, taking home second place here tonight. Jaden, sir, do you have a read?
Yeah, I got a read.
Jaden, welcome up here to the booth. Congratulations on your second place finish here tonight. I got to ask you right off the rip here. I mean, you were giving Aaron Smith quite the run there, going all the way up until the very end. I mean, were you I can't really ask you that because you were obviously trying to get up into first place, but what was the hardest part about trying to get around that 70 car here in the last few laps of the race?
I was just so tight down on the inside. It's hard to get off the corner, and he had the run down with the being up high.
Absolutely. Well, and considering right now that you, after last week's race at Michigan International Speedway, you moved yourself up to third place in the championship. So you're up there in the top 3 right now, and after coming home with a second place finish here tonight, I can only imagine that you are going to be one of the drivers here to be looking out for as we go forward in the rest of the season. I mean, how are you feeling at this point knowing that you're in the top 3 and competing with both Howie Briss and Nicholas Lavelle for the championship?
I should be a little higher, or well, a little higher with points after this race, but hopefully we can keep on going that through the rest of the season.
Absolutely. I hope to get to see the same momentum for yourself. This would be I think your 3rd win. Yes, it is your 3rd win of the season, and hopefully add on to that more as we continue on. But Jaden, before I let you go here and celebrate tonight, is there anyone watching the broadcast at home or in the pit crew that you want to shout out and thank for your success here?
Just you and Tony, as always, for putting on a good week and a good broadcast.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Jaden, for joining me up here in the booth. I look forward to seeing you next week at Indianapolis and hopefully get to see some similar success out of the 81 car.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. Have a great night, Jaden. That is the 81 machine out of the booth here tonight. Last and certainly not going to be least here, Aaron Smith, the now 6-time winner of the 2022 VRL Cup Series. Aaron, you are just making a name for yourself here in the 2022 Cup Series, coming away with your 6th win of the season, and frankly, moving your way on up the championship standings. Last week after Michigan International Speedway, you moved your way up into 10th place, and I can only imagine after tonight that might even be a little bit higher. Aaron, how are you feeling right now, man?
I'm feeling pretty good. Jaden made me work for it there, but I wish we could have gotten some longer runs there toward the end. If that caution didn't come out halfway through the race, I think we would have had a pretty good deal going there. But I'm glad it still worked out in my favor regardless.
Absolutely. And, considering your success here in the season thus far, you have seen yourself, you kind of said it towards the beginning of the season when we started talking a little bit that you were more comfortable on the road courses. You're more of the road course aficionado, if you will. And coming here to these ovals is kind of more of just a bonus to yourself. But now that we've seen you out here kind of dominating on these ovals, Aaron, what are you doing? You got who you got training you behind the scenes? What kind of work are you putting in to really see the success that you're seeing here week in and week out?
I just show up to the practice session that went up tonight, just turned some laps there, found the limit by wrecking myself about 20 times before the race started, and then I went on from there. I went and won the overall championship for this thing like 3 years ago, and official anyway, so I'm pretty good at this car regardless of the practice I put in, but I'm glad we were able to make it work tonight.
Absolutely, making it work. 6 times to put yourself up here in the podium for a win here for the 2022 VRL Cup Series here at Texas Motor Speedway. Aaron, before I let you go here, crack open that champagne bottle and spray all your opponents with it. Is there anyone watching the broadcast at home or in the pit crew that you want to shout out and thank for your success here tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the folks at Velocity Racing League for putting this show on, you've broadcast, and all the folks for watching. Looking forward to getting back at it in Indy.
Absolutely. Indianapolis, the next crown jewel race that we're going to see here at Velocity Racing League on July 4th. Folks, I hope to see you there. Aaron, I hope to see yourself there as well, and hopefully get to talk to you again next week.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, Aaron. Good luck to you, and hopefully see some similar success at Indy.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. Have a great night. Alrighty, folks, that is going to wrap up our post-race interviews here tonight with Aaron Smith, the number 70 car, taking home the win here tonight. My name is Mason Highball with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here tonight, 1080p, 60 frames a second, as we always do. I want to thank you all for tuning in and watching week in and week out. If you enjoyed what you saw here tonight, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Catch all the action that we have here on Team Goon Squad 7 days a week. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next week, same time, same place, for the next crown jewel race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next week.